What's going on, MC's Finest? Week 4 is in the books. I decided to do something a little different this week with the rankings. What I'm going to do is, instead of just making a thread of, the rankings and describing them, I'll make a video of the rankings with my, analysis of each team. And then I will, sorry, this keeps getting in my way. And I will, what I'll do, is I'll rank the teams. I'll give you guys an analysis of what I think, and then I'll go back on the thread and I'll just list the teams. I won't put a explanation, my explanation or anything. I'll just list them so you guys can kind of just see where your team falls, in my opinion, of where you guys are at. So let's get on with it. This week, number 1, I've got to go with Mark. He's 4-0. You can't argue with perfection. When you've got 2 running backs like Adrian Peterson and Arian Foster that can get you 50 points combined. Just the 2 of them, I mean, that's just solid. He's got Jordy Nelson, who's just a big-time receiver for Green Bay. Tony Romo's he's a solid quarterback. If Vincent Jackson can get going, for another receiver to pair up with Jordy Nelson and Steve Smith, Mark could make some noise this year, especially in the playoffs. He had a bad. This is about the time last year where he kind of fell apart. I think he was 4-0 or 4-1, and he ended up I can't remember, but he didn't make the playoffs. So hopefully he can have a better year this year for that. So Mark's at the top spot on the standings. Number 2, I'm gonna have to go with Aaron. Just deep just really deep. Great, just like Mark, just 2 great running backs. Although they haven't really, they're averaging double digits a game, but it's not anywhere near what they've done last year. But they're still solid starters. He's got Alshon Jeffrey on the bench. He's got Miles Austin, but he's hurt. Matthew Stafford's good. Reggie Bush is just tearing it up in Detroit. Could do no wrong against Chicago. A.J. Green, in my opinion, is a top 3 wide receiver in the league. Hakeem Nicks, if he could stay healthy, and if the Giants would ever show up to a game, he could be decent. And Jimmy Graham is just unbelievable. Number 3 on my rankings this week, I'm going with Jobby. Jobby's team is a scoring machine. When you score 133 points like Brock did and not win, you must be playing Jobby, because his team just lights up the board. When you've got Peyton Manning, who's just having an unreal month as your starting quarterback, and you have Demaryius Thomas for double points, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Reggie Wayne, just staying young as ever. Solid wide receiver. Andrew Luck always seems to find him. Chris Johnson, he's not doing, his production's kind of dropped ever since the 2,000-yard season. He's averaging 7 points a game. Need to see a little more out of him. Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller, they're both hurt. They're both questionable, but I think Fred Jackson's the better running back as of right now. He's playing better. Marcus Colston, as you saw last night, even though he was shut out in the first half, and I was at Brock's house, so Brock was pretty pumped about that. He's going to get his looks no matter what. He's, like they were talking about on the game, he's the all-time leading receiver in New Orleans Saints history, so he's going to get his. And Antonio Gates, one of the better tight ends in our lifetime for sure. I mean, he'll get his points as well. Number 4, I'm going to go with Joe, number 4. Joe started off strong this year after being heavily criticized for his keepers. He was 2-0, made a big trade that I thought helped him. But since then, he's lost 2 in a row. Let's see if he can get back on track this week against Mike, which he should. He's got a great fantasy quarterback in Cam Newton. Giovanni Bernard, the rookie running back in Cincinnati, should be good. He tore up Green Bay when they played him, but again, who doesn't? Our defense sucks. Jamal Charles, who's questionable, is a fantasy football stud. Randall Cobb can just do it all for Green Bay. Pass the ball, run the ball, catch the ball, anything. Larry Fitzgerald, a big-time receiver in Arizona. As long as Carson Palmer can stay healthy and keep throwing him the ball, he should be getting his points. Deshaun Jackson seems to be really benefiting from this new up-tempo offense that Chip Kelly's running over there in Philly. Lamar Miller almost got him the win last week, but just fell short. I think Joe said he didn't play the whole second half. I don't know what the deal was about that. Let's see. Jermichael Finley he's playing very well this year. It's unfortunate he got hurt, kind of a freak injury. That's how concussions usually are. Just got hit in the wrong spot and was knocked out of the game. He's doubtful for the game Sunday. He didn't practice yesterday, but he was at practice, so they're hoping he'll suit up. He wants to suit up and play, so hopefully he'll pass all the concussion protocols to get out there. Number 5 on my list is going to have to be Nico. I like Nico's team, other than Sam Bradford, but he's got Andrew Luck. LaShawn McCoy, top 3 fantasy running back this year, is just, along with Deshaun Jackson, I think is really benefiting from this high-tempo offense that Chip Kelly's running. Darren Sproles just tore it up last night. He's kind of a hit or miss for me, I think. I think, some nights they'll utilize him a lot. Other nights they won't, just kind of based on their matchups they see. Andre Johnson's getting old. He gets injured a lot. He's averaging 9.2 points a game. He had 11 last week. He's a mediocre wide receiver for me right now. T.Y. Hilton, I expected a lot more out of him, but he's not doing as well as I thought he would do. Steve Johnson, I watched a little bit of that game, that Baltimore Ravens-Bills game, and E.J. Manuel, I started him. I started E.J. Manuel because Aaron Rodgers was on a bye, but I don't know, that offense doesn't really look very proficient. So, he's struggling a little bit this year. He had Greg Jennings. He's got Greg Jennings on the bench. Ray Rice will probably start him. Bernard Pierce. Percy Harvin, when he gets back, will fit right in with him. I think Nico's got a pretty decent team. Hopefully he can, keep it up and try to make the playoffs in a pretty tough division. Number 6, I'm going to go with Brock. Brock is number 6 this week. Maurice Jones-Drew has been a bad keeper selection for him thus far. He's only averaging 5.6 points a game, which is nowhere near up to his standards. I didn't think he was going to do that well this year either. I never have liked him this year. Matt Forte is Matt Forte. He can run the ball. He can pass, block, he can catch the ball. He can do it all. Tom Brady, I think, is the greatest quarterback of all time. So as of right now, there's another number 12 that I can argue for in a couple years. But Tom Brady is a solid starting quarterback, obviously, for him. Kenbrell Tompkins, big pickup for him in free agency earlier in the year. He's had 18 last week. I think he had 17 another week. He's going to quickly become Tom Brady's go-to receiver, already is his go-to receiver, and he should enjoy some double points there the rest of the way out the rest of the season. Dez Bryant is a top 5 wide receiver, in my opinion. He should just continue to put points on the board for Brock. I have no problem with that. Eric Decker is kind of a victim of they've got Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, and Wes Welker, I think, are the 3 better pass catchers that are better than Eric Decker, so I just think he's kind of suffering from that. But he'll get his looks, and there'll be his days where he'll get double digits, maybe blow up and get 15, 20 points, but it's not going to be a every week thing. He's an okay starter. Tony Gonzalez is the greatest tight end of all time, in my opinion. Had a monster game last night. Just solid as ever. He's got Justin Blackmon, who's now ready to go. He's not suspended. He was suspended for the first 4 games. He's back. Nate Washington, who all he does is catch balls. Had a big week last week. Brock didn't start him, but I'm sure he'll probably maybe start him in the future. So Brock comes in at number 6. Number 7 team, I'm going to have to go with. I'll probably have to go with Jeff. Jeff, 2-2, tied for first in our division. Number 7, Trent Richardson trade I think really helped him out. Stephen Ridley, I traded Stephen Ridley for a couple players. I didn't see much out of Stephen Ridley. I don't know why Jeff, being a Patriots fan, I figured maybe had a little more insight on him than I did, but I just felt comfortable trading Stephen Ridley. If he can get going, he'll have a very strong team. He's got Matt Ryan at the quarterback position, who's a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year. Trent Richardson, who started off slow in Cleveland, which is understandable, and then got traded to Indy, and I think he'll have a decent showing the rest of the way out. I already talked about Stephen Ridley. Dwayne Bowe, Brandon Marshall, and Julio Jones are 3 really good wide receivers, arguably the 3 best wide receivers on the same team in our league. He's got Julius Thomas, who's a number 3 tight end in the league right now. When Peyton Manning's throwing like he is, Julius Thomas will put up points. He's got Gronk on the bench, who's questionable this week. Le'Veon Bell, who had a pretty big week for Pittsburgh last week, the rookie. Philip Rivers on the bench, who had a big week. His bench is almost scoring as much as his starters. So he comes in at number 7. Number 8, I'm Gonna put me at 8. I'm 1-3. Got my first win. I was really nervous last night when Drew Brees was just snapping, but that fumble at the end of the game by Darren Sproles on the 1-yard line just saved me. So I've got Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback. Safe bet there. He's gonna have he had a bad week against Cincinnati. Got me 12. So I'm real confident with him. Marshawn Lynch, beast mode. I've actually got his jersey coming in the mail for the game Sunday. Just the top 5 fantasy running back so far, averaging 15 and a half a game, had 18 last week. D'Angelo Williams, one of the players that I traded Jeff for Stephen Ridley. He's rushed for over 85 yards all 3 games he's been in. They had a bye last week as well, so I've got him in. Eddie Lacy coming back from the concussion, had a 2-week break, so I'm hoping that I can get some short yardage goal line touchdowns and some pretty long spurts, get him into double-digit scoring. Wes Welker, number 3 receiver in fantasy this year so far. He's got 6 touchdowns through the first four weeks of the season. Peyton Manning's looking his way a lot inside the red zone, and he always finds a way to get open on third downs as well. I've got James Jones, Torrey Smith, and Anquan Bolden that I'm kind of intermixing, or I'm starting one of them, starting 2 of them, benching 1, benching 2. Just kind of, they're all similar players. James Jones, it hasn't been quite consistent as Torrey Smith or Anquan Bolden, which is understandable because of all the weapons that Green Bay has. So I'm basically just kind of starting James Jones based on certain matchups that Green Bay plays. I picked up Charles Clay, the tight end from Miami, this morning off free agency just because I needed a tight end, and he's been playing pretty well this year. Like I said, I think my bench is solid. I've got Bill Powell, James Starks as my handcuff player, DeAndre Hopkins, Anquan Bolden, Torrey Smith, Julian Edelman. So, I think I come in at number 8. Hopefully I can move up the rankings with a couple more wins. Number 9, I'm going to have to go with Ash, who's also at 1-3. Russell Wilson's a decent quarterback. Colin Kaepernick's, a lot of people expected more from him. I was thinking about keeping him, but I decided not to, which has turned out to be a pretty good decision on my part, even though he would have been a last pick. She's got Frank Gore, who's just steady, just 11.3 points a game. Seems to just keep plugging along. Darren McFadden, who's injury prone, he's questionable again. No surprise there. Antonio Brown, number 6 ranked wide receiver so far in fantasy this year, who's got a bye week, but he's averaging 13.7 a game. Megatron, who's just Megatron. That's all you can say about him. Pierre Garçon, who's playing pretty well as of late with RG3, as RG3 will keep getting better with the ACL and the knee, within the knee brace and the knee injury. He should benefit from that as the year goes on. She's very disappointing year for David Wilson so far. He started off season terrible with the fumbling issues, and he hasn't gotten it going yet. So I think Ash is she comes in at number 9. And number 10, I don't even know what to say. Mike almost beat me because of Drew Brees. I was up 40 going into Monday night, and Drew Brees put up 33, and Heartline, I think, put up like 3. So I ended up winning. Drew Brees, number 2 fantasy quarterback in the NFL, and DeMarco Murray and Victor Cruz are basically really all he's got. After that, it's Daryl Richardson for St. Louis, who's just 5 points a game, nothing much. Josh Gordon, 7 points a game, not much. Roddy White's on the bench, hurt. He's not real confident starting him. And that's really all Mike's got. So Mike comes in, at the last spot this year, or this week, for our rankings. Again, just let me know how you guys think of this, if you like this better, or if you like, me writing it down so you can see it. This is just kind of something different that I thought of doing after watching Mark's video. Again, I'd like to see some feedback just to see, if you'd rather have me do this, the video, and then just, list the team names, the rankings, or if you'd rather have me do how I've done last year and so far this year, where just write it all out so you guys can kind of see it better. Again, let me know so I can do it for next week. Good luck to everybody. Week 5. I know 6 people in our league will be at an NFL game this weekend. Me, Joe, Brock, Ash, Jeff, and Nico, I believe, is going to the Indy game also. So that'll be 6 of us. We'll be at a game, which is pretty cool. So everyone enjoy this week. Get ready for the week ahead, and good luck. Let me know how this works. All right, guys. See ya.